Good afternoon. I'm Christina DePaolo. I'm Director of Digital Media at the Balboa Park Online Collaborative. I'm very excited to be here today, and I'd like to thank Nancy and Rich for this once-in-a-life opportunity to come to Hong Kong and talk to you today. So what am I going to talk to you about today? I'm going to talk to you about the Balboa Park Commons project. And it's a project I've been working on for over 2 years to build an online library of the digital collections that represent the diverse cultural organizations in Balboa Park. And really the point of my presentation in this project is to create a sustainable, flexible, and affordable platform for publishing multiple collections. And why? Why is this important? Well, the big focus of this project is on providing San Diego teachers and students with connections to the museums in the park that have a lot of rich, deep assets about the culture of San Diego, the history of San Diego, and there are a lot of schools that are focused on multidisciplinary and interdisciplinary study, and they really want to work with the assets that the museums have, but they have not been available to the teachers and the students in the San Diego area. Let me tell you a little bit about Balboa Park, because this is really a regional and geographic collaboration. The park is one of the first public parks in the United States. It's at the heart and soul of San Diego. It's right in the middle, right in the heart of San Diego, and it's 1,200 acres. It has over 20 museums and over 80 cultural organizations. And then I want to tell you a little bit about my organization that I work for, because it's very unique, and it's one of the reasons why we've been allowed to do such a major initiative for the park museums. Balboa Park Online Collaborative, also known as BPOC, was founded in 2008 by the Legler Benbow Foundation. It's a local foundation in San Diego, and it's now its own 501(c) nonprofit organization. The main focus of the organization is to encourage strategic technology collaboration between the Balboa Park cultural organizations. And we also work with both universities and corporations and the museums to bring technologies into the park. The focus is to execute a fundamental change in the way park organizations approach and use technology. And we try to help address common technology problems by providing shared tools. So this is just just a little overview of what we do. We encourage the use of technology for the museums to reach their mission goals in many ways: professional development, building from a common website platform, digitization and collection access, working in the mobile apps and game space, what Rich Cherry showed you this morning with the Giskin anomaly game. That's one of the projects. Technical services and infrastructure. For example, when Rich Cherry was at BPOC, he implemented a park-wide fiber project to provide Wi-Fi, which has really changed the way people function and work in the park and in the museums. And it would be impossible to do the work that we're doing without having that infrastructure. Give you an idea of the diversity of museums in the park, we have a model railroad museum, the Museum of Photographic Arts, a Japanese Friendship Garden, Natural History Museum, the San Diego Museum of Air and Space, just to name a few. So why a commons? When BPOC was first organized, founded in 2008, the museum partners identified online collection access a primary goal. And BPOC tries to achieve this goal in several ways: by putting collections online, through the use of social media like Flickr Commons, and YouTube, creating an internal structure, sort of like an art store for the organizations to share assets with each other privately, and also through the Balboa Park Commons project, which is an online aggregated portal, and the focus of my presentation. So this diagram, I wanted to have some stars somewhere in the presentation. This diagram is our platform that we're building, and it's basically a publication platform, both private and public, that starts with the staff at the museums working in their collection management systems, and then their collection assets are pushed to the digital asset management system, and we went through a long process to pick a digital asset management system and implement it park-wide, and he went with the Piction digital asset management system. So it's our central repository for getting all the collections access out there. And so you'll see the different types of publishing that we are in the process of doing or plan to do within the park, the Balboa Park Commons, social media, etc. So to give you an idea of the type of collections, we're working with the San Diego Museum of Natural History, their library. We're working with the Museum of Air and Space Film Archive and their photography archive. We're working with 3 art museums in their collections. And then here is the example of the World Beat Center, which is an organization that promotes the rich heritage of African American culture and music, and we've digitized several hundred performance videos. So they don't have a traditional collection, but they have very rich digital assets. So the infrastructure, oops, I'm going a little crazy with my slides. The infrastructure that we're creating is based on rapid capture digitization. Many of the museums we're working with didn't have a digitization plan. We're implementing common collection management systems, data standards, and digital asset management systems. The digitization that we've been doing have been to deploy 3 rapid capture digitization stations, which exist for photography, film, video, and books. These are mobile units, and in the last 3 years, we've digitized over 250,000 photographs and videos. And when we first started out, we had technicians that were hired to help with the digitization. But really our model is about sustainability and having the museums and the museum staff own this work and own this process. And now the museum staff do this digitization with the help of volunteers. So just to give you an idea of the kind of digitization, here is a photograph of McDonnell Douglas Hornet. This made Flickr's Top 10, and it's from the Air and Space Museum Archives. This is a wonderful collection of mugshots that just came into the Museum of Photographic Arts collection that has been digitized. So just to recap, approximately 250,000 images and videos digitized by BPOC for 22 museums, libraries, and archives over 3 years. 430,000 total assets on BPOC servers. We've been working with 6 different cataloging systems, and we have 1 digital asset management system for all. And then to show you the why we're implementing what we're doing with tools to try to make them sustainable, is this is a screenshot of the Mingei Museum of Art's Piction instance. So all the museums that are on the digital asset management system have their own use of it, their own private use. And what they can do is there's these folders where they select what they want to put into the public-facing website, the Balboa Park Commons, by just doing a search on the collections they want to make available to the public and putting it into a folder. And then that night, it will actually go online. So they don't need any help from us. Basically, we've devised a tool in a way that makes it very easy for them to participate or not participate. And then these subfolders that you see over here are actually feature sets that go online that allow them to organize their collection for the public in groupings and basically show the public what they think is interesting about their collections. Oops. There we go again. So there's been a lot of work to create this platform using the digital asset management system. When you're working with multiple collections, here is something that's called the data crosswalk, where our team has figured out how to take divergent data and present it in a way where we can put it online. For example, here's an example of 3 museums who have a different name for title, and it's all pulled into one title. So it's a lot of painstaking work. And I just want to briefly talk about the user interface. We received an IMLS leadership grant 2 years ago to help with this project, and it's really supported the development of the front end as well as other parts of the initiative. And we started out the UI development talking to San Diego teachers to find out what they would want from a Balboa Park Commons. We identified our audience. We started defining what the online experience would be, we developed this serious set of wireframes and a design layer, and then we built a prototype. And we built a prototype in April. And what was challenging about this project is that we were building the infrastructure the same time we were building the design and the prototype. And so it wasn't until March or April where we actually had the content into the digital asset management systems where we could pull it into the UI and see whether this was going to work or not. And what we realized is that we had actually designed a website that was really meant to be 2 or 3 years down the road. It was really meant to show relationships between collections, to be a real curated exploratory experience, but we didn't have the data to support that. So you'll see in this screenshot here, this man is very lonely because he's surrounded by dark space. There's very little information. We have all these wonderful features and buttons and functionality, but no content. So, and to our credit, we weren't really at that time. We didn't really understand the data that we had. So we actually did a redesign and focused on really paring down the functionality, putting all the information in one area, and making the metadata very easily accessible. And it allows you to search by museum. It allows you to create your own sets, and also, since the focus of this is for San Diego area teachers who told us they wanted to be able to use the content in their classroom with their netbooks, with their technology, and they didn't want us to pre-organize the experience. So we're creating a way for them to download as much of the content as they can. Here is an example of being able to search by dog. And you'll notice that you have photographs from the Museum of Photographic Arts. You have objects from the Mingei Art Museum. So here is really where the good stuff is, where you can search across the collections, and teachers and students and visitors can start making relationships in their own connections across the collections. So the benefits: multiple collections and collection types represented, ability to make new discoveries. I haven't talked about the front end very much, but it's great for search engine optimization, and we're also going to be releasing this as an API to get the data out there. It offers cross-collection searching, and each organization can participate as much or as little as they want. And also, one thing that this is a great platform that we can continue to bring new institutions on board. We're talking to several community organizations in the San Diego area that have rich photography about the history of San Diego, and we're talking about bringing them on board this project. Each organization can participate as much or as little as they want. The limitations, we've had to do a lot of compromising because migrating data from different databases limits the ability to bring in complex label or description fields. Some of the organizations have very little data. Other organizations have very rich data. So if you are working on an online access project for one collection, you really have the control to tailor it to your museum. This one we have to create a common denominator, and sometimes it means you have to make tough decisions and compromise. Adherence to specific standards is loose. The better your standards are, the better your content can be. And in this case, we're starting out with very little content available to present rich storytelling. So I just want to leave you with 2 major points about this project. It is built from the ground up, working with small and medium-sized institutions who don't have a lot of resources and have not been working on these kind of projects. The other thing I wanted to mention is that this project, we're also doing the tough work that transforms museum practice. And I've been thinking a lot about how doing this internal work with museum practitioners makes it, this is the kind of work that you need to do to be able to reach the San Diego teachers in the way that they want to be reached, give them the resources in the way they want to use it. The change has to come within the institution, so they're open to creating these new structures and getting their assets out there and open. So thank you very much.
Wow, that was fantastic. Questions for Christina?
When you started, you were talking about rapid capturization. And I think you used video in the sentence there. Are you doing something special to capture video? I guess I just know more about images than video capture.
Yeah, we haven't been doing anything special, but we, in the sense that there's nothing.
Yeah, we were using a solo Sama, a Sama Solo, which is a robotic video capture device, so you can actually do lots of video fairly quickly.
What is your source media?
It was everything from VHS tapes to DAT tapes to pneumatic tape as well. So it was all different kinds of media that we digitized. And what the system that we had does is allows kind of non-technical users to actually be doing the digitization. So we were actually, in the beginning, we were using the facility staff from the Hall of Champions in Balboa Park to actually do the digitization after the system was set up, because they were there in the evening hours.
And what is the format that you're converting it to, or?
We were creating multiple derivatives simultaneously using the system. So we had a JPEG 2000 archival files, as well as Flash files and NVDA files. Sorry.
You know, one thing I forgot to mention is that we'll be launching the website soon, and it should be launched in the next couple weeks.